Good morning, everyone. I'm super excited to be here today. I'm Joy, a software developer and a co-founder at Rubicon Nexus. So I'll be talking about something I deeply care about, how we can make open source more sustainable by borrowing ideas from Web3. As we know, Web3 has a way of rewarding people who help to build strong and lasting communities. So we are going to explore how we can make, how we can bring this into open source and make it more sustainable. Thank you. In 1902, in Hanoi, when it was still under the French colony, something happened. They had a rat infestation problem. So the French government came up with something they thought was a smart idea to get rid of the rats. So they decided that they were going to pay the citizens 1 cent for every rat tail they brought in. So what happened next? The citizens started farming rats. Like they basically started breeding rats just to cut the tail and then get paid. As a result of this, the program failed because the population of the rats got worse and the program didn't work anymore. From this story, you can point out 3 things: goals, actions, and incentives. The goal was actually to eradicate the rat, and the actions was what the citizens were supposed to do to achieve the goal. Then the incentives is the benefits, the reward that was supposed to go to the citizens to take these actions. Now, their plan was that when they pay 1 cent for every rat that they brought in, that it would encourage people to catch the rat, but it didn't work out. Now, this shows us what can happen when incentives are not designed well. So, if I may ask, what do you think they would have used as an incentive other than money? Maybe they would have just encouraged them about the importance of killing the rats. It would help them and encourage them the more to catch the rats. So, what happens when incentives go wrong? What are incentives? Okay. When incentives go wrong, the thing that can happen is that, I'm supposed to go forward. Okay, how Web3 use incentive and design? What are incentives? Incentives are things that encourages people to take a particular actions to achieve a goal. And incentive designs are what you give people to encourage them to take a particular action. Now, how Web3 uses incentive design? Web3 knows exactly what people want. Yes. And Web3 has designed a system whereby they reward people. They reward people with tokens. And these tokens are not just money. These tokens can be governance power. It can be status like NFT. So Web3 has a way of rewarding people aside money. And Web3 changes the mindset of people from being just, volunteers, helping to build a project, to being also stakeholders who care about the project they are working on because they have a stake in it. Open source powered by passion. Open source is amazing, yes. People all over the world contributing, building the infrastructure of the internet. No boss and no central control. It is super amazing, but then there is something lacking. When people contribute over time without having the right reasons to stay motivated, what happens? It makes the project they are building to slow down, or most times they just drop off and stop contributing altogether. There is a gap in open source in Africa. Less than 3% of, in Africa, we have the talent, yes, because in Nigeria, we have over 100,000 developers, but then less than 3% of the open source global contributions come from Nigeria. This is because most of the contributors have seen that open source cannot actually pay their bill. Or most of them have also seen that they cannot build their career through open source. So if we are being right, and if we are being frank, we would see what web3 did right here. web3 created tokens that represent value. It also created decentralized autonomous organizations for structure and governance. web3 encourages people to build aligned communities that share the same goals and the same values. In web3, contributors are not just volunteers. Contributors are also stakeholders. Stakeholders who have a say in the product they are building. Stakeholders who care about the products because they want to see it grow. In web3, contributions are transparent. Okay, I'm going to talk about the project we are building at Rubicon. We are building BlogX at Rubicon, and BlogX is a decentralized job hiring platform. And this product, we are building with the community in mind. And everyone who contributes to this product, both technical and not technical roles, we pay them. And because of this, the energy in the team is positive, and people see themselves as volunteers. People see themselves as the owners, not just volunteers who are helping us to build this product. So OnlyDocs is one of the perfect examples of how this works in real life, how these incentives that web3 is trying to encourage in open source, how it works in real life. Open source. Okay, OnlyDocs is just like GitHub, but with an incentive layer. In OnlyDocs, you pick up tasks, do web3 projects, then when you deliver value, you get paid in crypto from their project treasury. There are also bounties for specific works. Then in OnlyDocs, they connect you directly with organizations that need your skills. The key lesson here is that fair and transparent rewards attract contributors and keep them building. Lessons that open source can pick from Web3. Open source should design reward systems. It could be money, it could be recognition, it could be status, because different people are being motivated by different things. Open source should make allocations, token allocations and reward more transparent to build trust. Open source should recognize non-code contributors like community support, referrals. This would help them to, and also they should also add financial incentives to it. Open source should shift the mindset of the volunteers or the contributors. They should shift their mindset from being just volunteers to also being stakeholders. Stakeholders who have a say in how the project grows because they have a stake in it. Let us rethink how we reward people in open source so that we can rebuild trust. Don't just fork the code. Let us change the incentives. And the value should flow to people who help to keep open source alive. Thank you. If you want to continue the conversation, you can reach out to me on X.